Today is the second episode of Turkish coffee making, and I'm gonna brew coffee from set number 3. It's specialties rare coffee, 1 bag club. Only 1 bag of this coffee, and it is Costa Rica Montero by William Elizondo. Why this coffee? Because it is anaerobic processed, but it's anaerobic natural. Even more fun. And Costa Rica has a little bit of controversy about the flavor. So this coffee has cinnamon in flavor descriptor. So at some point people thought that it's not natural. So they thought that it's infused coffee because it's impossible to get cinnamon in coffee as a flavor. But turns out scientists did not find traces of the cinnamon directly, so it is cinnamon in coffee. And what I'm gonna do today is use this Nova Simonelli coffee grinder, which is for espresso, something like this. So can be used for filter as well. (13.6 grams of coffee. If you want electric coffee grinder, this is one of them. It will give you possibility to grind coffee pretty finely, as you can see. Particles are here. You can go even smaller, especially if you have calibrated grinder. 135 of water, 135 grams, room temperature. Cezve is 200 milliliters. So what about this coffee? Why anaerobic process? Because it is trickier, it's not that obvious for people who starting to brew coffee, because it has a higher extraction usually, so it's easier to extract the flavor, meaning to dissolve particles, soluble material, which is stored in the bean structure. So bean is a sponge which has a lot of labyrinths inside, cells in which soluble material is stored. 180 degrees Celsius. Heating speed. So we have this bean structure and coffee extracts while we reach in certain temperatures, and when we're reaching around 90 plus degrees Celsius, extraction begins quite rapidly. So the higher the water temperature, the faster the extraction. But not only that, I believe some soluble material is dissolved better when the temperature is higher, like 95 degrees Celsius. And we have like easier, faster extraction of these exact flavors. And in this coffee, in anaerobics, it will be very intense flavor and unpleasantly intense. So it's like aggressive flavor, aggressive in terms of acidity, in terms of other characteristics. Mostly acidity. So you don't want to heat it up to higher temperature, and the foam will give us understanding what is the temperature currently. So when it starts to rub, it will be around 90-92 degrees, maybe 94. When it fully rubbed, it will be like 97 degrees or something like this. I haven't measured precisely. I've used electric kettle for this, which is not the best thing to measure because the process is very fast, so it's better to use some device which will record the data in the graph, so it will be easier to analyze and use platinum probes, some probes with platinum, so you will have them in a different spots of the cezve for better understanding what's happening inside, but it will require budget. a lot of budget. So that's what I have now. We have nice foam, I don't need to mix it. And we will take it off when the rub begins relatively aggressively. So we will not wait until it rubs completely or until even it starts to squeeze out the central bright spot. You can see it starts to rub from the sides, not the fastest one. So we will wait a little bit longer to avoid having intense flavors in the cup, intense and aggressive. And these coffee, anaerobic processed, tend to have more flavor overall. So it's either more easily extractable, dissolvable, or there is more flavor because of what's happening during fermentation process. So maybe more flavors locked inside, especially in natural processed coffee. There could be more flavor. So we have possibility to use bigger grind size or higher ratio, like 1:12. But always remember that you need to take it off at the middle or at the beginning of the rub. So here you can see it starts to rub near this wall. And we're taking it off like this. Cup size, perfect. As you can see, foam is beautiful. Particles are not in the foam, so the grind size is pretty small. And cinnamon flavor with the pie, apple pie, is already filled the room. So the coffee is exceptional. I did not expect. It's like when you're drinking it, it doesn't give you direct cinnamon flavor. It's hints of cinnamon. That's why I like it. It's very pleasant, mellow. Definitely will enjoy it if you will try it. Coffee roaster just mentioned this pie with apple and cinnamon. It's relatively light roast, even though it's anaerobic, it's pretty bright. Usually anaerobics tend to be darker because of amount of sugars and the outer layer, etc. You will enjoy the coffee just by the look. So it's easier than espresso and it retains this foam longer than mocha pot. Let's actually try with the foam. Relatively acidic, so I think I could go longer, bigger rub to introduce more sweetness. Just some raisins, lingering raisins flavor. Overall coffee is balanced, so acidity drops when it cools down. Let it cool down, because as in previous video, episode 1, you've seen that when I drink in hot cup, the flavor is not there yet, and the body is not there. It's pretty thin and falling apart, so there is not much flavor to keep it together. That's why it's better to cool it down before even sipping, making first sip, because that way we'll better trap the aroma under the foam. It will cool down, and physics works that way. When we slowly heat in water, aroma retains in liquid, and the only way for it to escape is when we transferring it to the cup. And I don't like to cool down coffee in cezve, first of all, because you get some like blunt flavor, blended. Like, so it's boring flavor. What I can say, it's better to transfer it to the cup right away. And this is coffee which, first of all, you will enjoy in aroma very much, because the aroma is very powerful and possibly even more pronounced than the flavor. And it starts to get very sweet notes. Like eating pie, dark pie, with some cacao, dark pie, somewhat brownie type, hints of cinnamon. It's just another level of experience. For those who love sweets, that's the coffee. Because there is also slight layers of acidity in raisins and somewhat apple. Yeah, and because we did not extract this aggressive acidity, we have a lot of it to enjoy, but lots of sweetness. And it just makes the cup so much enjoyable. And the aroma is still like, cinnamon is more perceivable in the aroma and possibly will be in the cold cup. Some tropical fruits as well. So that's it for today. There is not much I can say more. Just don't wrap it too much when you're working with anaerobic, especially if it's medium roast. Today I've brewed filter coffee light roast. Thanks for watching. See ya.